So I appreciate you, Jerry, always in your help. I have to just tell you, it is so lovely to be together. My heart is so full that we are able to be together as a team. And this is just a little fraction of our team. But it feels wonderful to be able to gather again. I know our house is a little tiny, but isn't it cozy? So just a couple of announcements for you. If you're looking for a bathroom, it's straight down to your left. There's another bathroom downstairs. We have tents and tables and chairs set up outside for you for dinner. And we will eat after we finish, and we also celebrate with the Maltby cake, Rick Redford, wherever you are. So we have a very large Maltby cake to present to Mr. Rick Redford, which I'm going to introduce you to in a minute. Jerry and I jumped into this business 6.5 years ago now, and we were looking for a residual income. We were looking for an opportunity that had better health and better financial opportunity. And someone had introduced a company called Limu, which is under our house of brands with RX. And we jumped into that, and within about 2 years, our team became one of the fastest growing teams in the world for Limu, and we organically, yay, no kidding, that's because of all of you. And we continue to really grow, and we saw some really beautiful things happen. Well, fast forward a year ago, this amazing company called RX came into our lives, and RX is called a house of brands. And tonight we have the new Rick just got a new title, and it is Rick, the president of everything.
No, not everything.
You can just call him Mr. President. That's what we're calling him, Mr. President. And so he flew all the way in from Utah to be with us, and we've gotten a year to know Rick. He's just an exciting. Now, just 1 minute. So Craig, when we used to tell his 2-minute story, I'd be in the back and I'd be doing, wrap it up, and he'd have like 3 or 4 crying breakdowns every time. And the people were so traumatized when he got done. They were sobbing and sobbing. And like, we got to work on your story, Craig. And you know, that means a quality of life, a significant quality of life change. And he has a really dynamic team that is actually just smoking right now. And so please welcome Mr. Craig Tomanini.
All that pressure for time, so she already told you I've lost over 150 pounds, 161 pounds. So that part of the story we can just leave out. When I found out about this industry, I was actually working in software testing. Vic knows it's actually how I met Vic, and we were. I was working at a company that was 80 to 100 hours a week. I was traveling 75% of my time, and as a result of that, my lifestyle kind of just went in the toilet. I was eating airport food, sleeping in hotels, or not sleeping in hotels, and I went up over 400 pounds. And my cholesterol went through the roof. It was in the mid to upper 200s. My blood pressure was 193 over 176. Wow. And my wife and I just came to the conclusion really fast because of migraine headaches and all the things going on in our life. I had an unborn son on the way and 4 daughters already here. Lifestyle change had to occur. We were in debt as well, so I was financially stressed. That's why I was working my butt off as many hours as I was. And as a result, I gained all this weight, got super sick, got put on blood pressure medicine, hated the way that made me feel. And I got to a point where I just didn't want to be here anymore. Insert crying break. The laughter helps. But I got to a point where everything just kind of came to critical mass. And went and talked to Betsy Waters, who my wife has known for 20 years as a family friend and a teacher of our children. And we decided to go to a party like this. I was super skeptical, and I just wanted to get my hands on the Blue Frog because I wanted to get some energy so I could bring my fat butt to the gym and work out. And that was my focus. I walked out with a Fast Track pack with the Limu products, started consuming the products, and in 6 or 7 months I lost 70 pounds. Went away to a destination event because I started to feel like there was more to this business than just the products. Because we were financially in debt, I went to an event, I submitted my story, I won a $1,000 prize at that event, which was pretty validating. And I came home and said, okay, I'm gonna give it 90 days, I'm gonna take a run at this as a business and see what can happen. Because I remembered someone telling me that I could make a couple $1,000s and I could drive a paid-for vehicle. And those things mattered to me at the time. So I made a hard run for 90 days, and about 87 days in, and I love when she's here, I was in Wanda Steiniger's kitchen getting ready for a party, and Limu Corporate called and said, you've qualified, your team is shared with enough people, go pick out your BMW.
Yay.
So we've been able to, if I wrap up, we've been able to have decisions, options is what I tell people now, options financially that I didn't have before. Certainly physically, I'm here 4.5 years later, which I wouldn't have been, certainly from a health perspective. My wife and I have paid off our debt. We live, in what we call our forever home, and super blessed, truly blessed. So that's my story.
Thank you. Business. We're in transforming people's lives, and Craig's story is. I never tire of hearing your story, Craig.
Really?
Never tire.
Every
of it.
freaking time.
Yes, every single time. It's truly. Our next guest tonight to be sharing with you, her name is Erica Fundamanave, and her amazing husband Melton. They are here. Yay! And we had the privilege of meeting Erica and Melton. They had just moved from South Africa. They were coming to minister at a church called New Life Church here, which is across the street, which you can kind of see. It's a big old Mecca church right over there. And Melton was going to be the outreach minister to local outreach here. And through a friend, we found out we had a lower level that was quite large at the time, and they were looking for a transitional space before they found their home to move into. And I called a friend, and within 5 minutes, that friend called another friend, and within 5 minutes, that friend called me and said, we have some friends moving in from South Africa, and they need a place for a few weeks, and we're wondering if you're open to your lower level. And I said, well, sure. He said, great, because we're about 4 houses from you, and we're I'm like, oh, all right. So I remember thinking, that basement clean, I had a lot of grandsons, and so I'm sure it probably wasn't Melton when you saw it. But when he came in, I thought if I could show him some brownies and coffee, maybe it would distract him. So I served him brownies and coffee, and he said, you're going to love my wife. When you meet her, stop it, Craig. Craig just told me to run.
Oh, is he doing this?
So they said, he came in and he said, you're going to love my wife. People say that kind of stuff to you all the time, right? Well, maybe not, but you might not. But when I met Erica, I was like, oh my word, this woman is extraordinary. She is a true lover of the people. She is really an inspiring woman. If you've ever been on have anyone seen her Zooms? They are extraordinary. Yes. And she's a true leader. Both her and Melton have big backgrounds in leadership development and leading people. And she opened a country called South Africa. And her and Melton have done extraordinary things, helping change the lives of people in South Africa that don't have as many options as what we have. And so I would like to welcome Ms. Erica Fundamanave as she tells you her story.
Wow, thank you guys. Thank you so much, Dan, for inviting me. And I want to thank the Melchizedek family for opening up their beautiful home. And Evan, Keith, thank you for this morning. We had a wonderful day together. We're really blessed and privileged if we could be together today. It's something that I think all of us have done some math on, that to have people in your life that you can love and journey with, that is God's gift to us, I believe. And so I'm really honored to be with all of you. So Tam has explained how we met. I want to talk a bit about my business journey with RX and how that happened, how that came to be. So obviously, if you know Tammy, you would have known about Limu, right?
Hopefully.
I think it's the first thing she serves you when you get to her house. Would you like some Limu? So she gave me some Limu because I suffered from severe jet lag, and I loved the product. I loved what it did for me. I was on it for a few weeks, loved it, but the business side of it did not really appeal to me that much, and I believe that was divine, and I'll share with you why. But at the end of the day, when I knew I wanted to do RX, that was when the merge with RX had just taken place. And when I saw that RX was trading globally, now as a South African in America, that is my lingo, right? That speaks to me. So I knew, wait a minute, I wanted to listen to this. And we were at a friend Janine's house, and Robin and Tam just got back from Utah, where they met Rick Redford and some of the other leaders with them just before the merge. And they came back and told me about Sincerity and all the wonderful things that Sincerity could do. And I thought, man, something about this. When you're an entrepreneur, you have your eyes open and you have your ears open. And something about it just spoke to my heart. But I did not have, I almost said bloody work authorization, but truly I did not. And I had to wait. And I had to wait 9 months before I was allowed to start working in the United States. And I cried my eyes out. I was so frustrated. I was on the Zooms. I listened to the YouTube videos. You guys, I want you to understand that I'm so passionate about this opportunity because I come from a country where we do not have opportunities. And when you come to the US, you realize how blessed you guys are. And we should not take it for granted. If we have opportunity, we have a golden key. And so I come from a background where you have to work extremely hard and you don't have the opportunities that you guys are blessed with. So I knew when I stumbled across RX, God had sent me an opportunity, but I could not access it because I did not have the correct paperwork. Now I will tell you, it's much easier to be an illegal immigrant in the US than what it is to be a legal immigrant. But you know, I'm old school. I admit my mother and my father taught me well. So I believe if you want God's blessing, you need to do it the right way. So I waited 9 months. So I waited 9 months to the day, literally 9 months, and my work authorization came through. And the day I got that letter, I booked my Zoom. And I was hungry to access and use the key that I had in my hand. So I stand before you today truly grateful, truly thankful, and I want you to know I don't take anything for granted because I know what it is to be without. And I think sometimes we become spoiled and we don't work as hard because we're so used to everything happening. But with RX, I'm just reminded as we drove to your house, Tam, it was pouring rain and hail a few minutes ago, typical Colorado weather. And the sun was shining and we were driving and I told Melton how beautiful everything is after the rain. And I thought how grateful I am that I have a car to drive from my house to Tam's house. Hey Marisha. Marisha is my South African friend and she lives here in the Springs as well. Come on in. And so I was thinking, I have a vehicle to take me from my house to Tammy's house. And I want to encourage you as I close with this. If you choose it to be, you have a vehicle to take you from where you are today to where you want to go. You have to get in the car, you have to switch it on, you have to put the pedal down, you have to put it in gear. Well, in America, you drive automatic cars. The thing is, you still have to drive your vehicle. But praise God, we have a vehicle. It's global. It's phone-based, not home-based. I don't believe in home-based. It's phone-based. It's global. It's in dollars. I'm thankful for dollars. I come from a different currency. And we are literally changing people's lives, not only in America, but worldwide. So I count myself blessed to be a part of this organization. Rick Redford, thank you for coming all the way to Utah. What a lovely pleasure it is to meet you and hear your heart and your vision. And I want you all to know I am nothing but proud to align myself, my name, and my efforts with this company. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Good job.
The one thing she didn't tell you was that she's lost weight. How much have you lost, Erica?
So I've lost 24 pounds.
24
Nice.
So awesome. Thank you so much. Give her a big round of applause. Dr. Crystal, please
You're good.
forgive me.
You're good.
I'm so sorry.
All the grace and mercy.
Whoa, Crystal. Whoa,
It's hard, it's a habit.
So, Dr. Crystal Vance is she's a chiropractor, retired chiropractor at this point, but she has been nominated for the Wellness Council in RX, which is a
Nice.
huge honor. And that's a really very, very big deal. So she serves with other doctors and people that are professionals in their field, and she has been chosen to represent her field as a doctor, and we're really proud that she came from our team. That's a really big deal. So one more story to share before we bring up Rick, and I'm going to introduce you to a woman who hit 200K inside this business, which doesn't really mean anything except for she helped a lot of people achieve their goals, and she helped a lot of people get their cars, a lot of people bring financial freedom into their families, certainly a lot of people with a lot better health, and because that's how she started in the journey. And so she's a dynamic, fun leader, and you're going to love hearing her. Please welcome Ms. Robin DeMille.
Yay.
Oh, she doesn't want to take pictures of me.
I would love to take your picture, but it's very backlit.
Hi! Hi! I brought some notes because there's a couple of things I really want to share with you. So thank you for coming, everybody. I know it's a hot summer day and we all want to eat and all that good stuff, but the business at hand is changing lives, right?
That's right.
And when I was introduced to this business, I had no intention of joining. I just needed a product benefit, really. So I called Tammy. Well, we met through a cake, which you're going to eat very soon.
Throw a cake.
Except that I had to buy the cake. You get the cake for free. So anyway, when I first came in, I really needed a product benefit. Does anybody here know you or anyone you know need a health benefit? Now, if everybody doesn't raise their hand, you're lying, because you all know somebody who needs a health benefit, right?
Yes.
Somebody is sick, and some people don't remember that they're sick because they've lived with chronic illness for so long, or they're taking their insulin shots for so long, or their heart pills, or whatever. And I needed a health benefit. And so when I called Tammy, I was on 72 supplements a day, and I was trying to get over, quite frankly, a nervous breakdown. So much stress in the life, stress really affects your life. And so anyway, came to a party much like this. There was a little bit, probably twice as many people. And we had lots of food and lots of fun. And I thought, I wonder if this could be the answer to my prayers. Does anybody have some prayers they need answered? Tonight? How about anybody here have a financial need, or you know somebody who has a financial need, right? And if you don't think you have a financial need, You need finances to help other people, don't you? So I just kind of put that in my innermost being, and I didn't really act on it. But I did have 2 people that came with, and they enrolled with me, made $500 my first night. And within a week, I started feeling so much better in my health, I couldn't even believe it, because it was liquid supplement. And that was, of course, Limu, and now we're under the umbrella of RX, and I love that. But there's a couple of things that I just really want to share, that this business has changed my life so significantly that now my little grandkids have a hope and a future because of RX. They have something that I did not have. I was raised, and we didn't do well. We were living paycheck to paycheck. My dad was an over-the-road truck driver. He was gone most of the time. When he wasn't on the road, he was in the bar. And so it was a hard life when we grew up. My mom and I, we worked our little mansion. So things were hard. I mean, I had a baby at 17 years old as a senior in high school. Now, that started my life off difficult. But God has a plan. He has a plan. And so for me, when I bought that cake from Tammy, that was part of the plan, because I knew specifically that I was supposed to buy that cake from her, and I was supposed to call Tammy, because there's a few of you in this room that actually called me about Limu. And I went back to Tammy because I knew that's what I was supposed to do.
You turned us down, but we still love you.
What's that?
You turned us down, but we still love you.
Yes, and you can talk to God about that. That's all I got to say. Are you ready to make an impact? Do you want to make an impact in the world? Or are you focused like this, where you can't see anybody else? Because in my life, I want to change the world.
Yes.
I want to grab hands with everybody in here and change the world. And we have a vehicle so strong that's getting stronger by the moment that you can change lives. And so how many of you need change?
Yes.
In one way or the other, you need change. We all do, right? So I got this message on one of my feeds today, and I thought, oh, I'm going to use that. I'm stealing it. It had nothing to do with RX. It had nothing to do with my business. Crystal was on the same feed, so I'm just going to steal this from our feed. Your impact is a result of your influence.
Yeah.
How much influence do you have? I didn't have a lot of influence, but when I came into Limu, my influence started growing and growing and growing. And now with RX going public and all the things we have, my impact has grown huge, massive, and it's getting ready to grow bigger and bigger. Your influence is a result of your resources. How many of you need more resources? Do you need more resources? No, come on.
Yeah.
I need more resources. I don't care if I'm a millionaire. You still need more resources, right? Guess what vehicle we have? We have a vehicle to have more resources, which in turn gives us more influence, right? And do you want to change the world? I do. I want to change the world. How about having a global impact? When we were in Limu, we didn't have quite a global impact. We had a little bit of an impact in different areas of the United States, and maybe a little bit of Mexico, and a little bit here and a little bit there. But now we have a global impact. And when I came to this business, I didn't have that big of a vision. My vision was very small because my gut was such a mess that I needed help. And Limu was my ticket because it helped my body. It gave my body what it needed to heal itself. So Limu didn't heal me, RX didn't heal me, but it gave me the tools and the nutrition that I needed to heal myself. And when you feel better, you do better, right?
That's right.
And that's what happened. And so I just started sharing because I really wasn't interested in the business because I didn't feel good enough. But I started telling people because I thought, maybe it could help you. Maybe it could help you. Maybe it could help you. And I was just going to sit back and kind of watch that. But once I started feeling better, boy, I was ready to take on the world. And we did. We did. We went really quickly. I reached out to Dr. Crystal very simply in an email. I didn't know what the heck I was doing at all. Let me tell you, anybody can do this business. Anybody. Seriously. A ballroom dancer, a bartender, I was a minister. You can do this business. All you do is share. Because when you love something, you share it, don't you? When you have a result, like the result can be simple, like this. Look at these great shoes. You want to have a result like that? You can have those shoes too. But does the shoe store give you a referral fee for sending your friends to the shoe store because they're going to buy, if it's Tammy, she's going to buy 3 pairs of shoes. And if it's Crystal, she's going to buy 20 pairs of shoes because that's what we do. So I just want to encourage you. We had a great success and the business has changed my life so much that I can't even look back. I don't want to look back to what we did, what we had. I can look forward because RX has such a huge opportunity for you. If you'll grab hold of it, have faith, trust in your leaders, trust in all these wonderful people that are here. And when you hear Rick, I'm telling you, your head will spin and you will not sleep tonight. You will not sleep tonight. No pressure, Rick. But anyway, we had a lot of success. I feel better. I look better. And I'm doing better. And so thanks for letting me share, everybody.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Robin. Okay, last but not least, and our very, very special guest, which we are very honored to introduce, Mr. Rick Redfern. I have a little gift for you, Rick. It's going to be full of Blue Frog, popcorn, licorice, Magic Mix, whatever, Pringles. These are the things your wife told me that you love.
You reached out to my wife?
And she... Is that bad?
Which one?
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, so Rick is from Salt Lake City. And so when I introduce Rick, I always say Rick is married to one wife that we're aware of. And he's got great, amazing kids, 4 great kids, 3 daughters, set of twins. I'm going to let him talk about. But really, really, truly, the things I love about Rick in the year that we've gotten to work with him, because we got to work with Rick a whole year before he came into all of our lives. And one is I have never met, and I've never truly worked for somebody that works for you like Rick does. I mean, I cannot tell you, if I'm up against something I cannot solve, and I bring it to Rick, he really comes to bat for you. Like really in the trenches. And he's an incredible leader, and he has made North America great. He came here to build North America, which is Canada, the U.S., and Mexico, and he's doing gangbusters with it. But I would like us to give a very warm welcome to Rick Redfern, and thank you so much for sharing. So Rick, a lot of people in here would love to hear about your vision. What is the vision of RX? Why is this the perfect place, the perfect time for them to jump in?
Awesome.
Yes.
I can do that.
Yes.
At least, I think I can. First of all, what's your name?
Augustine.
Say that again?
Augustine.
Augustine. That's a cool name. Will you play a game with me for a second? I mean a different game.
You have to put the phone down.
So tell me, that's okay. Tell me what you want to be when you grow up.
I want to be a mechanic.
Did you hear that? Awesome. And you're looking at he's looking at a truck on his phone. Did you hear any delay at all when I asked Augustine what he wanted to be when he grew up? It was instantaneous, it was reaction, he knows today what he wants to be when he grows up. I'm guessing that will evolve. Maybe a mechanical engineer, maybe he will want to be a mechanic. The beautiful thing is, the dreams that we had when we were 10, how close are we to being able to dream the same way today? And I want to just open up by asking you that, because a lot of us along the way, have you ever played at the game called Whack-A-Mole? And I said that anybody who were here last night, please disregard any of my jokes. You've heard them and they're not funny anymore.
Laugh at him again, you know.
But thank you. If you've ever played Whack-A-Mole, you know that when the head pops up and it gets hammered down, in life that happens a lot. And so as we lift our head up and say, I want to be this, I want to be that. See, when I was 10, I wanted to be the next Robert Redford. Now, my last name is Redford, and some of you might remember who that actor is. I knew I was getting old when I went to a restaurant, and I always say when I go up to the counter, they say, what's your name? I'll say Redford, and they'll say, how do you spell that? And I'll say R-E-D-F-O-R-D, just like the actor. Well, and for many, many, many years, they went, ooh. And, you know, it's all about the ooh for me. So, that wasn't the guys, by the way. That was the girls. Anyway, so and she said, who? And I went, I knew I was getting old when they didn't know who Robert Redford was. So that's what I wanted to be. And so I learned how to sing. I learned how to act. I became, musical theater was my study in college. And also I wanted to be like the next rock star. And so I was in a rock band when I was 6 years old because that was cool. That's what I wanted to be. Well, along the way, life got in the way. Now, I made a conscious choice. Rather than to be a really talented food service worker and work at California Pizza Kitchen and sing happy birthday to people who had birthdays, I decided to go into business. I consciously did. I didn't give up on a dream. I expanded my dream. However, most of us, a lot of us, kind of give up on that dream a little bit because life gets in the way. We live paycheck to paycheck, and that becomes normal for us. So we think, okay, if I could just do a little bit more. And so we look for that raise at work. And yes, I did just get a raise.
Good for you.
Jazz hands. I did. And I'm not president of everything.
That was a good one. Though,
Just North
wasn't
America.
it?
That was a good one. I might put that on my card. Just president of everything. I don't think my wife will fall for that. Anyway, so my point is that I want you to think tonight as I tell you a little bit about why RX and why this might make sense to you and why this might actually be what it is that you've been thinking about, maybe even praying about in many of your lives, and you just haven't known really what it was going to look like. Because I have been there. I've been miserable before, and it wasn't that long ago.